Little snow tour here, everyone. Rolling into the our property association here. Today being November 6th, 2019. A couple days off after Halloween. And noise and whatnot there. Alright, so right here on the left, this is our driveway. And that telephone pole would probably mark the outskirts of our property. So everything you see here on the left it is pretty much all our property over there. Well, no, pretty much about it. That is all our property out there. On the left-hand side, property actually comes out to the middle of the road here. And it pretty much goes right to that telephone pole, getting a little sideways here. This telephone pole out in front of us, right there, that big telephone pole. Well, not very big, but that telephone pole right there is pretty much the property line. So right now we're gonna mosey into one of our little back trails here, our side trails. Back and slide around a little bit here as we roll in. Now if we were to go to the left over here, where this minivan is, that would take us over to our house. We're going to go right and go up this hill. Right here where the snow blade is, we could go straight through the woods, right through here, and there's a trail that goes right along at the edge of a ridge line right here. So there's a hill and a valley over here on the right side, another valley on the left side, and this is kind of a ridge line trail. We could go that way, but we are going to go a different way. We'll end up seeing where that trail comes out here in a few minutes. Keep sliding around quite a bit there. Little shooting gallery out in front of us. Line of cans there. As we approach the house, we're going to make a right turn right through these trees. So hopefully we don't slide into any trees in the process. What? And now we're coming up on the front half of the course here, the track. Obviously very snow covered. I just posted that video yesterday on the cleanup for the track. Ooh, pretty slick sliding around here. Got my niece in the car with me here, just picked her up from school. So there we are taking a look at the track, everyone. Extremely snow covered, still snowing. Really hasn't stopped snowing since the last video. And now we're going to drive down through this clearing here. Now technically, everyone, right now, this tree right here on the left with the tag on it, that is my neighbor's property. So our property pretty much goes in line with that Douglas fir right there. So this little trail on the left is technically my neighbor's property. But they're pretty cool people. We've known them for many, many years. And so we all have let each other run through on the paths back here. A lot of logging trails going through the woods back here, probably hundreds of logging trails in all reality. A lot of them being old from back in the 1800s and the early 1900s. So a lot of them are somewhat overgrown, but there is quite a few that are still open. And we're currently on one of them. So this is technically my neighbor's property right here that we are on. And right over there in front of us is kind of still my neighbor's property a little bit. But we're going to make a hard right here. Hopefully, maybe.
Oh.
Alright, now we're rolling back up towards my property here. Alright, so right about here, technically, right about here, we are, excuse the view and trees and snow and whatnot, we're coming right back onto our property here. So pretty much everything you can see off to the left here and everything we can see off to the right and straight back this way, that's all us. This trail right here, going up straight through the woods, that's where we would have came out at if we would have went straight by that snowplow blade that was up in the woods there. Still sneaking through some trees here. Yep, still on our property, everyone. A big hill or valley right here, which we can really barely see, but it drops down. The hill kind of drops down into a valley. Hill's really nothing compared to Tennessee or Kentucky, but very generous for being in Michigan. Now technically we're kind of starting to roll into my backyard here and getting off of the back edge of the property a little bit. We own a little bit further back in here, probably about 100 feet straight that way, and then a lot off here to the left, so which is the way we're going. And we're rolling into another valley right over here on the left hand side, and looks like we have some fallen down trees down here. This is where I filmed our two other outdoor tracks back here in the woods. We are doing some tire spinning and four-wheel drive. So this is about as far as we're going to go right now. I'll step outside for a second. Yep, stand still here. Got a little fallen down tree laying across the path. So this is still all our property, everyone. Right back here on the right side of this valley is where I filmed the log hill run with the TRX4 Broncos, both Broncos, and the Gen 8 Scout. That's where I had the trailer on the back of the Bronco and was dragging it up that old dead log. And then over here on this other side of the valley, over here on the left side, this is where we filmed the Leak Hill run with the Viterra Ascender K5 Blazer, my TRX4 Bronco, and the Red Cat Gen 8 Scout. So two big valleys right here. We're walking into a valley. So yeah, that's actually right where the cover photo was for that video. Was taken right underneath that log out there. Right out there. For the Leak Hill run. And the reason that was called Leak Hill Run, everyone, is that this whole hill in the spring is covered in wild onions, which are referred to as leeks. So that's all you could smell out here when we were driving through with the truck, spinning the tires. That's all you could smell was onions as we were rolling across through there. So that's the Leak Hill Trail. Oh, still walking down into a big valley here. Quite a bit of snow on the ground. So far, about 3 or 4 inches right now. Still snowing, obviously. Right here is where we filmed that old log hill climb. And that hill, or that log, is buried in snow. Not that one right there, but the next one behind it. That's the one we were climbing up, going up through that area. So a big valley, big hillside on this side, spinning around, another hillside on this side. Once again, this is all our property. We have 10 acres back here, everyone, so it goes back quite a ways, and it's fairly wide. Another tree laying down right there. And our property drops into another valley here. Big hillside all the way along that side, all the way around here. And we own probably back to the other side of that hill back there. So we own quite a ways back. And quite a ways over this way. And probably a couple hundred feet over this way, about 100 feet past the edge of this hill on the other side. And there's the Jeep way off in the distance over there, so gives you an idea on how far we just walked real quick. Yep, some big valleys through here, great for the RC cars. All kinds of opportunities and areas that we can come back here and build some sweet courses. I'll make my way back to the Jeep real quick and we'll continue with our tour. Yeah, this is actually where we found a lot of the rocks too, everyone. Big ridge line. Find a couple rocks sitting over here, and then, you know, uncover those and it'd be even more. But just places where the glaciers had dropped them off, and we find them in rows. And so we found a whole bunch right over here by that dead tree there, and then we kind of straight line right across, and we found a bunch more through the woods here in a straight line, just little patches of rocks here and there. Pretty much stuff that just rolled off of the glaciers when they came through here way back in the day. Alright, so there's where we're at, and we're gonna go back up to the left here. Maybe. Alright, on the move again here. So yeah, so our property extends quite a ways back in the woods here on either side. And we're going to be working our way off the edge of our property here in 1 second as we're making our way back out to the trail. Yeah, and like I said before, there is hundreds of trails going through these woods, and there's thousands of acres in this section of woods as well. This is actually a big property association, a few thousand acre association. And here's where we made that one turn coming off of our main trail there. And then once again, a long time ago, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, this was a big logging area as well. So we are rolling on those logging trails, just to recap that. Currently, right now, we are on one of my neighbor's properties. And we'll actually be going across several neighbors' properties as we drive down this trail here. Try to keep your view clear there, everyone. So we have another trail right here on the left. This would lead to my neighbor that's directly next to me. This is the path that leads back to his place. We got a little car wash here. At the car wash. Yeah, a lot of fallen down trees in this area as well. A little valley off to the right here. We'll try not to slide down into that. Once again, here's another path right here that leads up to my other neighbor's house. So this is the neighbor directly next to the neighbor who's directly next to me. So 2 neighbors over. A lot of 10-acre parcels in here, and a few 5-acre parcels. So a lot of people have 10-acre lots, and there's a couple that have 5-acre lots. And then right here we have one more trail that breaks off to the left. This would be a third neighbor right over here. That would take you right into his backyard. Definitely gotta be careful what paths you tread down. Once again, everybody pretty much allows everyone else to use this path as long as they're respectful. As long as we're not back here spinning our tires and getting all sideways and tearing things up, then it's pretty much okay. And we are about to pop out onto a power line right out here. Here we are out onto a power line. So if we go back this way, that'll take us back to the entrance where we came into the property at. And that power line runs all the way straight down over top of this road, another mile or so down to our next association road. So the association is quite large. We're going to go up this way, maybe to the right. Get some traction in some of these weeds. There we go.
Whoa!
A little bumpy on the old power line here. As most power line trails are. Now we are coming up on the back edge of the association property. This is actually another road right here that we're going to be coming up on. Which these people that have property on the back edge of the association property have this area kind of blocked off. So you can't really access this road unless you come through the power line like we just did. Which brings us down to this next power line. Everything on the right is all association property. Everything on the left is also association property. Or was at one point in time association property, but people now own them. Now this little trail right here is a trail. Now we would have kept on going straight through my property where that tree was falling down at. We would have came out right over here. And this trail also loops around through the woods back that way and drops down into a major valley, which we definitely will not be going into in today's kind of weather. And it also goes down here quite a ways and drops down into a big swamp at the end of this run. So what we're going to do right now is turn around right over here, which is one of the back entrances into our property. Once again, more logging trails. This one goes straight that way, which would take you to my property, and there's another one that breaks off to the left over here, which takes us into that monstrous valley that we are going to definitely stay away from. Coincidentally, this is another spot where we found quite a bit of rocks up through the woods in this area. So we'd have to roll through here, drop down through this valley, come up to the right over by all those bushes down there on the end, and then make a left and drop into another valley. And then that would take you out to where we were standing when I was walking through with the camera. And since it's all snowy over there, we are not going to attempt that. We have that tree down back on that side, so we definitely don't want to attempt it with that tree down. Especially when I'm out wheeling by myself, don't have a tow buddy, don't have a chainsaw with me, so don't necessarily want to get stuck in the back of the woods. Actually, what you can't see, everyone, there's actually a bunch of trails over here on the left that just periodically break off and go into the woods. But most of them aren't properly maintained. So going through it this time of the year would definitely be a death sentence. I'd probably get stuck back in there for sure. I'm sure there's all kinds of fallen down trees back in that area. Hope we don't slide down into the Snake Valley here. Duck underneath these power lines. Sorry about all the bumps, everyone. Once again, on a power line, so not the smoothest terrain to be filming up on. And here is where we came out of the woods at, right here. Which we are going to go right back into the woods. So our tire tracks look like they're all yellow. Looks like somebody just like we peed on the tire tracks. That's all the leaves, all the oil from the leaves soaking through the snow from the Jeep tracks going across them. There's our one trail right there, which leads to one of my neighbors. Build a 2001 XJ XPV FPV. Some real first-person view here. Alright, back to the car wash. Once again, my other neighbor's property branching off here to the right. Trail there.
I think you missed the other one.
Well, we got Haynes' property. That's Jeff's property right there. We'll be coming up to Chris and Chuck's here in a minute.
No, that was Chris and Chuck's.
No, Chris and Chuck's is up here.
I'm getting confused.
Or maybe that was Chris and Chuck's. That was Chris and Chuck's.
Ah.
You're right.
Oh.
Uh-huh. And then here we are making that, it's where we made that one hard right turn initially. Private drive. So once again, right here, we are all on my neighbor's property. Our property is technically right where those evergreens are, kind of a straight line, so about 20 or 30 feet off in the woods this way is where our property continues. We got all the hills. Got the good land. Dropping back down into that lower valley below the track. See how high up the track is by comparison to where we're sitting currently. All built into a hillside there. And then right here, this is all our property. Everyone, we're back on my property again. The tree line on the right is pretty much the property marker right there. And back to the front yard, and you can see, yes, the pumpkins are still sitting there. Once again, November 6th, just a couple of days after Halloween. We're coming down to the end of our driveway, everyone. We are just going to shoot right across the road onto another neighbor's property right here. And this will just cut us right across to the other side of our property association, just to give you guys more of a journey here in the Jeep while we're out on the snow trail. In all reality, these trails going through the woods are actually smoother than the dirt road coming in here. The dirt road coming in here is full of potholes and all frozen
And mucky.
and mucky. Going through the woods here, we're just go over the occasional fallen down tree, but driving on some nice padded snow and leaves and relatively smooth. we just passed from one neighbor's property onto another neighbor's property. This is kind of cutting right through the middle of the association. I keep my eye on the camera and keep my eye on the trail too, running over falling down trees and what have you. Alright, now we are officially on the other side of the association. There's another dirt road right here that wraps around the association property, which is like a 2.5 mile road that wraps around. Now the section of woods in front of us, this goes for about another, I want to say probably about another mile to the south here, and then that goes out to a gas pipeline, and property association goes halfway onto the pipeline, so another mile at least of woods going this way before we get out of the association area. Back into the woods we go. I remember way back in the late 80s rolling through here in my friend's Mustang. His dad worked for Ford. He came through here and they had a Ford fuel evaluation test vehicle. And it was an 89 Mustang GT convertible. And he ran it through this trail at about 60 miles an hour seemingly. He probably wasn't doing 60, maybe 40, 45, but he was hauling butt through this trail. And I was thinking that we were going to be bouncing off a tree at any minute. Definitely more of a Jeep trail than a Ford Mustang trail, that's for sure. And there you have it, everyone. We are rolling back up to the property driveway here, our entrance. And back home. Down past the track to my little turnaround spot here. Must be a great area to build a big old flat track or stadium truck track back here in this area. This technically right here is where our property divides between our property and the neighbor's property. So this trail breaks off to the right to go to the neighbor's, and straight up the hill here, obviously, to go back to our place. Thanks, kid. Hopefully nothing is out of focus here. And that completes the partial tour, everyone. That would be the end of that one. Once again, our property, as you've seen when we came in, running around the outside edge of that road, would be right along through the back of here. So we were running up right around that very outside edge all the way back around. And then we came in initially to the woods way down over here. So a lot of frontage over here on this side that we really haven't even taken the RC cars over to yet. So a whole bunch of area right over here that's unused right in the front yard. And that is going to do it, everyone. We've got the Jeep parked back under home tree there. It's a little shelter from the falling snow. Obviously, it's still snowing here. Yes, Pascal, I believe you are right. Seder Rodas, Pascal. I believe winter is here to stay. So that's going to do it for right now, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and the tour through the woods, and we will see you all on the next one. Thanks again.